Today, I'm going to attempt to build the best possible cryptocurrency portfolio that I can think of for this upcoming cycle, with the main goal being of this portfolio to maximize my potential profits while also not taking on too much risk. Now, obviously, this is not an easy balance to find, but that is the question we are going to look to explore in this video when I share my different coin picks for this portfolio for the upcoming 2024 and 2025 cycle. Now, I believe this could be one of the last bull markets that retail investors can look to make generational wealth from cryptocurrency. And the reason for this is we just had the Bitcoin ETF get passed very recently. And this means this opens the door for millions and billions of dollars from institutional investors to come into the cryptocurrency space and get exposure in a very safe and regulated way. As more and more institutional investors come into the space, that is going to leave less of the pie for retail investors overall. So I do believe that this could be one of the last cycles for retail investors to take as much of the pie and get as many profits as humanly possible from cryptocurrency over the next few years. If that is your main goal, then you need to be in the right discords. I would highly recommend checking out my private Discord in the description below, where we get access to all the best pre-sales, whitelists, the best alpha, talk about the best coins, and have one of the best and most vibrant communities you can possibly look for in the cryptocurrency space. You can check out my Discord in the description below. All that being said, in today's video, I think these are some of the top projects that could propel your cryptocurrency portfolio to brand new all-time highs over the next couple years. The plan is to talk about why I chose each coin and also go over some of the pillar fundamentals surrounding them. We will also talk about how much I own of each coin and what percentage they will take up of my entire portfolio. Though you might be wondering why I think right now is probably one of the best times you can get into the cryptocurrency space. And there are 3 to 4 main reasons which I will go over right now. The first main reason is going to be the Bitcoin ETF just got approved by the SEC. This allows large institutional players, multimillionaires, and billionaires to get access and exposure to Bitcoin without actually having to hold the asset itself. There is no worrying about centralized exchanges and them going under like FTX. There is no worrying about holding your own keys and making sure you don't lose them. They can just buy into these different funds, these different ETFs, and get exposure to these very volatile, but also assets that are continuing to decrease in price year over year without accruing too much risk. So this opens the door for large institutional investors to get a ton of exposure to the cryptocurrency space in a safe and regulated way. So this is a huge step forward for the entire industry and is one of the main catalysts that we were waiting for to see a bullish 2024 and 2025. And this is now confirmed. The Bitcoin ETF has passed. So the second main reason I think this could be a great year for crypto is going to be the Bitcoin halving. And the Bitcoin halving is slated to take place around 80 days from now. And that is going to put us at the start of April, maybe the first week or the second week of April. And so as history has shown, the Bitcoin halving can be one of the biggest catalysts that we have in the cryptocurrency arsenal to start the 4-year cycle of a bullish run for cryptocurrency. We've already seen that with Bitcoin going from $23,000 to now over $45,000 with the Bitcoin ETF and the Bitcoin halving news approaching slowly. Now we have the next catalyst, which is the Bitcoin halving taking place in April. And then that will lead us into the third reason as to why I think this could be a great year for cryptocurrency, and that is going to be the presidential election. Now, the reason I think the presidential election could be a great thing for crypto for 2024 is going to be history shows that the presidential election years that take place in the United States, the markets are more stimulated in general. They print more money, they lower interest rates, and in general, people have more money in their pocket on any given year during a presidential election. And I think this makes a lot of sense because if your voters are broke and poor and sad and can't afford food or electricity or their water bill or their rent, then they're less likely to vote for you as a presidential candidate. And the presidential election year also bleeds into the fourth reason as to why I think we're going to have a bullish couple years for cryptocurrency coming up, and that is going to be interest rates are slated to be cut sometime during this year. So the market is currently predicting the potential first interest rate cut happening in March of 2024, with almost a 100% chance to happen a couple months after that. So if we start to see interest rate cuts at around the halfway mark of this year, and that is also when the presidential election is starting to heat up, and that is also a couple months after the Bitcoin halving takes place, and that is also even more months after the Bitcoin ETF has gotten approved, as we've seen only a couple days ago. You combine all 4 of these catalysts, and for me, it is incredibly hard to be bearish right now, and this is not the time that I am willing to sit out of the market with all these different catalysts coming to a head around the same time. All right, so now we're going to get into the different coins that I'm I'm going to include in my portfolio for this upcoming bull run. And let's just get the big two out of the way. I do plan on having Bitcoin and I do plan on having Ethereum both in my portfolio for the next couple years. And I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but the reason for it is essentially Bitcoin now has an ETF. It is legitimized as a commodity. Lots of institutional demand is going to flow into Bitcoin, and I could see Bitcoin getting a 2, 3, 4, 5x over the next couple years. That would squarely place Bitcoin in the six-figure realm, anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 Bitcoin. And so for me, that is more than enough to include it in my portfolio. It is also a hedge against potential volatility when it comes to altcoins and different coins in general. Bitcoin is the king. Bitcoin has the biggest market cap. Bitcoin is the most legitimate and is 100% classified as a commodity. So there is less regulatory risk there. And so you combine all of those factors, and I will be including Bitcoin in my portfolio as a long-term investment. And then obviously we are going to include Ethereum in my portfolio as well. I could easily see Ethereum breaking past $10,000, especially if Bitcoin reaches that six-figure coveted mark. Ethereum is definitely going to get to $10,000, all considering if Bitcoin continues to do well throughout the next couple years. And so these are 1 and 2, blue chip, biggest market cap, least risk, potential big reward when it comes to profits and multipliers that you could make for these investments. Obviously, I think Ethereum is going to give slightly more returns than Bitcoin itself. I could see Ethereum reaching anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 per Ethereum. And this is, once again, all considering if Bitcoin stays bullish, if the Bitcoin halving takes place and goes off without a hitch, if the presidential election stimulates the markets, if interest rates get cut, etc., etc. There's a lot of speculation and potential risk here, but like I outlined at the beginning of this video, I think there are quite a few solid reasons as to why we can believe and speculate on the fact that these coins could reach their all-time high in the next couple years. All right, so now we're going to get into the altcoin gems that you guys are so interested in. Bitcoin and Ethereum out of the way, they're going to be included in my portfolio, and they will probably take up anywhere from 20 to 30% of my entire portfolio. The rest, anywhere from 60 to 70% of my portfolio, will be in smaller cap altcoins, gamble coins, layer 2s, and different L1s that are faster and cheaper than Ethereum. All right, so the very first altcoin that will be a part of my portfolio and will likely take up anywhere from 2 to 3% of the entire portfolio is going to be Solana. Solana is currently sitting at around $100, and I can easily see this breaking through its all-time high during a crazy bull run. I like Solana for a bunch of reasons. It has a large meme coin and crap coin culture on it because fees are so cheap, trading is so fast. You don't have to spend the ridiculous amounts of gas fees to get your transaction in and out, and you can actually make quick flips for NFTs and coins by spending only a couple pennies in transaction fees. Solana also has a growing gaming ecosystem being built with the community and also has large partnerships when it comes to billion-dollar corporations like Visa. So you combine all those different factors together along with just Solana being a hyped narrative overall, I do think Solana will definitely take up a couple percent of my portfolio. The next altcoin I plan on including in my portfolio is going to be Optimism. I like Optimism for two separate reasons. One, its DeFi capabilities and its DeFi ecosystem continues to grow at a fast pace. Second reason I really like Optimism for this upcoming bull run is because its tokenomics. And as you can see here on the screen, there was a large token unlock June 1st of 2023. And as you can see here, as we continue to go higher, the next unlocks are all gradual on a month-to-month basis throughout the next couple years. There is no big cliff, there is no big token unlock to worry about or any sort of FUD that can come from a big token sell-off and unlock during this next bull run. So the tokenomics, I think, make a lot of sense over the next couple years. So the next altcoin I plan on including in my portfolio is going to take up a slightly less of a percentage in my overall portfolio, just coming in around maybe 2 to 3%. And this is what I would like to call a true bet on a narrative play. And what I mean by that is a lot of talk around the SEI ecosystem, the SEI ecosystem has been happening recently on the timeline. Discords, Twitters, all different talking about the different NFTs, the different coins, and the SEI token itself all across my timeline for the past few weeks. And I do think this ecosystem is slowly starting to mature into a bigger and more exciting atmosphere. So this is definitely a coin I plan on having a small percentage of my portfolio into, just completely betting on the narrative that this coin continues to have backers, continues to pick up steam, and continues to launch cool NFTs and cool coins on top of this chain. So it's less based on fundamentals and much more based off of pure narrative. So the next project I plan on including in my portfolio, and this one's going to take up a slightly larger percent of the portfolio because I really like gaming infrastructure plays, and that is exactly what this is. And there's also some really cool aspects to Beam that I will cover in this section as well. So the Beam token is actually a rebrand of a project that used to be called Merit Circle. And as you can see here, what Merit Circle does, aka Beam, is outlines their treasury completely transparently. And this is the really cool part about Beam that I think is very underrated and not a lot of people are talking about. So currently they have a treasury of about $94 million. And as you can see here, they have a cash balance of $36.5 million in that treasury. So this allows them to have about $35 million of runway to build whatever they want. And that roughly translates to, a couple decades of potential building time for them to push out projects and products. So the treasury itself is incredibly bullish, and it gets even more interesting as you come down here to the venture investments section of the Beam treasury balance. So now we're going to take a look at the specifics behind the Beam treasury, and I think this is a very interesting part of the ecosystem in general. So once again, they have $36 million of liquid cash to build whatever products they want, and that gives them many, many years of cash to build products. They also have about $7.6 million of liquid crypto assets in their treasury, and also about $2.2 million worth of NFTs in their treasury. One of the things that I find most interesting about the Beam ecosystem, and something that not a lot of people talk about, is their venture investments and what their treasury has done with some of their money that they have. And so as you can see here, they have $48 million of venture investments into these different companies. And so if you're buying the Beam token, if you're buying into the Beam ecosystem, you're getting to make proxy bets onto all of these different projects and startups as well. So looking down this list here, you can see Exterio, that is a huge company that I think is going to do really well. You could see Shrapnel, they have equity in tokens, about $250,000. They break all this down for you, and it kind of acts like a bit of an ETF, to where if you're buying into Beam, you're also buying into a very small portion of all of these different companies that they hold in their treasury as well. So I do think Beam has a really, really solid chance to do extremely well in this upcoming bull run because of the venture investments that they have, the cash that they have on hand, and how these certain narratives, as well as it being a gaming infrastructure play, could all play together to send it to a multi-billion dollar market cap. So I would recommend checking out their Merit Circle treasury page and kind of going through these. There's a lot of projects that you guys will probably recognize. And once again, they have a ton of cash to build whatever they want for lots and lots of years to come. Okay, so the next coin I plan on including in my portfolio, and frankly, this coin is going to take up a decent bit of my portfolio, probably falling in the line of about 10 to 15% of my entire portfolio. So I am particularly bullish on this coin for this upcoming cycle. And that coin is going to be Rollbit coin, or RLB for the ticker. As you can see here, they have a market cap of around $440 million. So I do think this is particularly one of those coins that could see that coveted, 20 plus X during this next cycle, just because of how low the market cap currently is, and also their insane amounts of revenue that they have reported over the past few months. They make something like 100 times more than any of the other GambleFi competitors in the space, basically making all other GambleFi and gambling coins obsolete, in my opinion. Once again, if you have a bunch of different GambleFi coins that you personally like, feel free to invest in those, but Rollbit has shown time and time again that they have incredibly high revenue numbers, and also do lots of different token burns, which can help boost the price of these coins. And if they do a large token burn sometime during the next bull run, I think this coin could go absolutely nuclear. So the next reason I really like Rollbit in my portfolio is going to be its annual revenue. And you can take a look at the screen here. They make around $500 to $600 million a year in profit. And to me, that seems a little bit absurd that they make more revenue than the market cap of the coin itself. Its current market cap is sitting at around $450 million when they're making over $500 million a year in revenue. To me, that seems a little bit absurd. You can also take a look at DeFi Llama and take a look at some of the biggest coins and the biggest protocols making the most money in the space right now. Taking a look at Uniswap, they make around $600 million a year in fees. Lido makes around $622 million a year in fees. Tron makes around 430. PancakeSwap makes around 170. Taking a look at some of these coins, Uniswap, Lido, Tron, etc., these coins have multi-billion-dollar market caps. And if you take Rollbit's annual revenue and you compare it to the annual revenue of some of the biggest coins in the space making the most money, that puts it squarely in between the 6 and 5 slot of top ranking annual revenue coins in the entire space. And so in my opinion, I think the market is undervaluing Rollbit, the coin itself right now. And during this next bull run, I think Rollbit, the coin itself, could reach a multi-billion-dollar market cap, not even based off of speculation and narrative and hype, but based off of pure fundamentals when it comes around annual revenue. The data is right here. Rollbit makes around the same money as Uniswap does, and Uniswap has a multi-billion-dollar market cap once again. So I think Rollbit is going to do absolutely great this next upcoming cycle, and I think the market is going to slowly catch on eventually. So the next coin in my portfolio is going to be Superverse, and this is a gaming infrastructure play once again, Web3 gaming play once again, and this is one of the smaller coins that's going to be in my portfolio, coming in around a $250 million market cap. And so I really like Super for a couple reasons. One, it is directly affiliated with Ellio Trades, which you guys are very much familiar with, and he is a large YouTuber and also large Twitter account person in the Web3 space. I do think a lot of his reputation rides on this coin, and I really do think he's going to put his best foot forward when it comes to Super Token, the Superverse, and everything they plan on doing with that ecosystem. And I think just that alone is going to be a reason for somebody to put their money into this coin. The next reason I really like this coin for this upcoming cycle is going to be this tweet right here. Everything changes in 2024. Let's build the future of crypto gaming. So I think for a while, Superverse was a little bit scattered in their vision. They were focusing on quite a few things. They had an NFT marketplace. There was a bunch of different things that the team was focused on. But I think now finally the Superverse team has landed on a vision, and that is going all in on gaming infrastructure. That is going all in on Web3 gaming. So I do think this coin fits the narrative perfectly when it comes to this Web3 gaming wave that I think we're going to see over the next year or two. It is also a fairly low market cap and has retraced a little bit from its crazy run up very recently. So this is a coin that I do plan on having a decent percent of my portfolio into, maybe around 3 to 5%. So big fan of Superverse, big fan of Ellio Trades, and big fan of the direction the team is taking with the coin right now. Next up in the portfolio, we are going to have CIFY, and I've talked about this coin a few times on this channel, but I really like this coin in particular because A, it's already done really well over the last bull run, and they have been able to retain attention and relevancy, but I also think there's a huge amount of demand to get in early to new tokens, and CIFY gives you direct access to these new tokens by buying into CIFY itself. So there are different tiers in the CIFY ecosystem. If I hold X amount of coin or if I hold X amount of coin, this is going to give me access to different certain projects at a different vesting schedule, at a different cliff, etc. So there's a lot of reasons to hold the CIFY fund coin that gives you direct utility in getting access to brand new projects that are looking to get through their launch pad, they're looking to get raises through the CIFY ecosystem, and just get support from the CIFY ecosystem altogether. So CIFY for me is a direct bet on Web3 gaming. It is a direct bet on degenerates and speculators and investors looking to get into tokens early. That is more than enough reason for me to get into a $200 million market cap, considering it could go to a multi-billion-dollar market cap if, once again, Bitcoin breaks into that six-figure realm and takes all of the bullish coins up with it. So CIFY is definitely going to take up a decent bit of my portfolio, probably somewhere in the 5 to 10% realm. So the next coin in my portfolio is definitely going to be Avalanche, and I like this because it is basically a clone of Ethereum but scaled up, and so fees are a lot cheaper and the overall blockchain runs a lot faster. So the reason I like Avalanche in particular is because there's some large names talking about it and supporting it and investing into the ecosystem. The first one that comes to mind is obviously Alex Becker, and I think he's going to continue to talk about Avalanche and the projects underneath it in the future. I also really like how Avalanche is going pretty strong into the Web3 gaming ecosystem. They have a ton of really big Web3 games coming up under Avalanche very, very soon. So I do think its gaming ecosystem, if gaming does well, if Web3 gaming does well, and that entire narrative and niche does well, I do think Avalanche is going to directly benefit from all of that hype. This is obviously a bigger coin sitting at around a $14 billion market cap. And so if this even, 5x's, I'll be very happy. And so the last coin in my portfolio, and once again, this portfolio may adjust and change slightly in the near future, but I'll keep you guys posted on what I take out or add to, etc., is going to be Playable Games. And this is by far the smallest coin in my current portfolio, which is sitting at around a $47 million market cap. This is once again a gaming infrastructure play that is a small cap coin and could see, a ton of X's coming this bull run as long as they stay active, they have really cool games coming out, and the narrative stays hot around Avalanche. And so this is a coin that I plan on having exposure into, but also keeping it not a huge part of my portfolio because, once again, as long as these coins continue down in market cap price, the riskier they get. So a $50 million market cap coin versus a $14 billion market cap coin, obviously the amount of money you can make off of one or the other is going to greatly differ, but then the amount of risk is going to greatly differ as well. So the risk surrounding a $50 million coin versus a, Ethereum, which is hundreds of billions of dollars, is going to be very, very different. So these sort of coins, obviously you have to be able to stomach a lot of risk and you have to be able to stomach a lot of different price action. So Playable Games, something that will be in my portfolio, but a smaller percentage, probably somewhere around the 2 to 3% mark. I am always looking for different coins and hidden gems to share with you guys. If you do know some coins that I should look into, please talk about them in the comments below, and I will give them a deep dive and look to add them into my portfolio if it makes sense. These coming years, I think, are going to be incredibly exciting for anybody looking to make generational wealth in the cryptocurrency sector. The Bitcoin ETF, the Bitcoin halving, interest rates getting lowered, inflation getting lowered, a presidential election, a ton of institutional money coming into the space, regulatory stuff getting established so things are easier to operate in and make products around. There is a ton happening in the space right now, and I think right now is the time to get involved. Please check out my Discord in the description below. That is going to be one of the best resources you could ever make to potentially make a ton of gains in the cryptocurrency market. Just recently, we've had people make thousands of dollars longing shorting Bitcoin and Ethereum during these ETF news cycles. There has been a ton of opportunity over the past few months when it comes to whitelists and different tools and software that we've developed in-house specifically for the Discord. There's a ton of opportunity in this Discord and you should not miss out on it. Please check it out in the description below. So please let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the current portfolio. It is going to evolve over time, but in general, these are coins that I'm going to look to include for this next coming bull run. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I would greatly appreciate your time, and I will see you guys in the very next one. Peace.